Alright, last night I rewatched The Incredibles for the 1000th time and decided to make another ranking video. This time, ranking villains by their chances of beating the GOAT, Mr. Incredible. This will be based entirely on what I know about the characters and what I think would happen in a hypothetical scenario. And as always, before we get started, let's go over the tiers. No chance. They would get stomped out quickly and easily. They pretty much have no chance of winning whatsoever. Could land a few juicers. They might be able to land a few licks on Mr. Incredible, but that's about it. They're not actually going to be able to do much. Bit of a scrap. They could go to war, bust it up going into the 5th round type of fight, just a good, proper scrap. They could beat Mr. Incredible. It'd be a pretty close fight. They definitely could win in some situations, but I can't say for 100% certain that they get the job done. So they could beat him. They'd beat Mr. Incredible. Pretty self-explanatory. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get into this. The T-800 Terminator. Now the Terminator is a tank, but it wouldn't be able to do much to Bob. Any explosives or guns it would try to throw at him, Bob would be able to take it. Bob's a pretty durable dude. I don't know exactly how durable, but he's bulletproof, he can eat a train to the face, and can fight off the highest level Omni Droid, which is an absolute unit. It was able to cut him, but it's made with an advanced material that could probably cut through most of anything, so that's a bit of an outlier. He can also apparently sense danger, so he might know if the Terminator's rolling up on him. But if Bob could handle an Omni Droid, which is like the Terminator but juiced to the gills, I think he can handle the Terminator. I think if the Terminator did come after him, Bob would probably just crush him with his bare hands or launch him into space or just dust him with one punch. It would be that easy. So I don't really think there's a way for the Terminator to win this fight, so he's going to have to go in no chance. Zoom from the CW Flash. Back in Season 2, Zoom was a scary motherfucker. He'd beat the shit out of Barry whenever he got the chance, and he's a speedster, and you know how overpowered speedsters are. Bob wouldn't be able to touch him because in Zoom's perspective, he'd be pretty much frozen, and Zoom would still be able to move quickly within that perception. I also don't know if Bob would be able to eat super speed juicers to the lips or not, but let's just assume he can. Doesn't really help his case. Zoom could do some reverse flash tactics and just mess his life up. He could crank Bob's hog at super speed so he's constantly tired and sluggish and just not doing well in the bed. He could empty his fridge out every night without being noticed, so at 2 a.m. Bob has no snacks. He could just grab him and bring him across the country every once in a while. Or he could just reverse flash phase his hand through his chest, which would probably do the trick. Either way, Mr. Incredible does not win this. He has zero chance, so Zoom is going to go in. They'd beat Mr. Incredible. Freddy Krueger. Bob does sleep, so Krueger does have a chance to get to him. But there's like a different way to beat Freddy in each movie that he's in, and the way that he was beat previously is always patched or forgotten or some shit. But we'll just use the first film as the blueprint. So the way to beat Freddy is to just not be scared and or pull him out of the dream. And for Mr. Incredible, that'd be pretty easy. When you've lived your whole life being basically invulnerable, a guy with finger knives isn't really going to scare you. And on top of that, when Freddy hurts you in the dream world, it hurts your physical body. And since Bob's physical body wouldn't be able to be hurt, I feel like he'd be chilling. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think Freddy would do shit, but I do think he could maybe catch Bob by surprise and land the first few licks. So I'm going to put Freddy in, could land a few juicers. He might get a couple clean hooks in there, but since Bob is nearly invulnerable, and he also thinks he's nearly invulnerable, so he would be invulnerable in the dream world, I think he packs Freddy up pretty easily. The Sentinels from Days of Future Past. The Sentinels can adapt and mimic other mutants because they can adapt to powers that are tied to genetics, and since Bob's powers are genetics, I assume they'd be able to do the same thing to him. Bob's probably more or less on a similar level to that movie's Colossus, and he got absolutely dog-walked. Like, look at how they're doing my boy. So, yeah, the Sentinels are going to go in, they'd beat Mr. Incredible. They destroyed all of the most powerful mutants with ease, so I can only assume they do the same thing to Bob. Omni-Man. I doubt this will be controversial, but I think Omni-Man goes in, would beat Mr. Incredible. Hold up, let me explain. Using actual logic and not just Mr. Incredible is cooler, so he wins, Mr. Incredible is nowhere near the level of Omni-Man. Firstly, Omni-Man has legit super speed. When Omni-Man and Mark were fighting in Season 1, Omni-Man smacked him, and while he was in the air, Omni-Man was able to move around and think at normal speeds while everything else was slowed around him. He's also significantly more durable. It's not even remotely close. Bob is bulletproof, but he's not invincible. He's been hurt by smaller explosions and other lesser things, whereas Omni-Man has really only been hurt by other Viltrumites. He can eat explosives to the face like they're nothing. He also ate a multi-billion-dollar laser to the face. Omni-Man's also significantly stronger. Bob struggled to move this thing, whereas Omni-Man threw a meteor the size of Texas back into space.
You should have seen the asteroid I diverted a few years ago, the size of Texas.
The strongest thing Bob has fought was probably the Omni Droid, which would probably get one-shot by Viltrumite, and also we saw Omni-Man destroy a whole planet. So yeah, Omni-Man claps him up, no hate. Demogorgon from Stranger Things. Now the Demogorgons from Stranger Things are pretty quick and can definitely fuck up any regular dude, but I don't think he would do well against Bob for a couple of reasons. Firstly, Bob is probably just as quick and significantly stronger. And secondly, I don't know if it could pierce his skin. But with that being said, I do think it could maybe speed blitz Bob, catch him off guard, and land a few juicers before he gets put down. So I'm going to put the Demogorgon in could land a few juicers. Spider-Man 3 Sandman. Sandman in this movie seems to be pretty much immortal. As long as a grain of sand is still left, he survives. He's gotten blown up, eating a train to the face, getting turned to mud, and he can pretty much take any hit. He can also grow to be a massive ass sand monster if there's enough sand for him to absorb. And even before that, he was able to run the fade with Spider-Man, and he usually would get the better of him. So I think he could for sure hold his own against Bob. There's not many ways for Mr. Incredible to really win this because as long as there's a grain of sand around, Sandman will just come back. There's also a chance he could just fill Bob's lungs up with sand and kill him. So I'm gonna have to put Sandman, and they could beat Mr. Incredible. I honestly think Sandman would probably come out on top in most scenarios, but I don't think it's a 100% given that he'd win, so I'm gonna keep him where he's at. 2015's Doctor Doom. I don't even know what the fuck this guy's powers were. He had like everything, I guess. He was invulnerable, he had a force field around him, he had telekinesis. Yeah, dude had everything. I think he packs up Mr. Incredible pretty easily. This Doctor Doom is just cracked as fuck, so he's gonna go in, they'd beat Mr. Incredible. Not much Bob could do here. Jason Voorhees from the 2009 remake. Unlike Jason in the previous movies, this Jason was a skilled and intelligent hunter as well as absolutely menacing. Bro would haul ass 25 miles an hour at someone. But he wasn't as freakishly strong and durable as the previous movies. And even in those movies, Jason got his ass beat pretty often up until Tommy resurrected him and he became like a zombie. So if Bob stumbled on Camp Crystal Lake at night and Jason tried to kill him, I don't think it'd go well for him. The main character in that remake, the handsome fella from Supernatural, was low-key working Jason a little bit, and he was just a regular dude. So one juicer to the lip from Bob probably packs him up. His machete also isn't going to be penetrating Bob's skin, so this Jason's kind of f***ed. So I'm going to have to put this Jason Voorhees in no chance. Megatron. Had to bring him back just for that clip. Megatron's definitely stronger than Mr. Incredible just based off what he's been able to lift and what he's been able to do. I assume durability is also on Megatron's side, but Bob has been able to fight off the Omni droids, which are pretty OP, so I think he would at least stand a chance. But Megatron can throw down with Optimus Prime, so yeah, enough said. I think in the end, Megatron would get the job done. He's too big, too strong, too durable, so I'm going to put Megatron in could beat Mr. Incredible. I'm not putting him in the top tier because I don't feel like it's a 100% given that he'd win. Mainly because Bob has fought those Omni droids, which are pretty cracked. Tombstone. Tombstone's pretty durable, able to be shot without taking any damage. He was also completely unscathed when his house blew up with him inside it. So he might be on par if not more durable than Mr. Incredible. He's also pretty strong but not on the same level as Bob. But with that being said, I think it'd be a good scrap. Tombstone can duke it out with Spider-Man consistently, and he consistently comes out on top, so he can definitely throw down with Bob. But I don't know if he gets the job done. Bob is much stronger and has fought and taken down more than one of those Omni droids, so I'm going to put Tombstone in a bit of a scrap. It would be a tough fight, but I think Mr. Incredible edges it out. Or maybe I'm wrong and Tombstone is actually stronger than what I'm giving him credit for. I don't know. Obadiah Stane.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps!
Obadiah's suit is basically a juiced up version of Tony's first suit. It's bulky, it's strong, but it's also really slow. In their fight, Tony was low on power the entire fight pretty much and was able to hold his own. He even jumped on his back and ripped the suit up, causing Obadiah to have to open it up. I think Mr. Incredible could take pretty much everything Obadiah would throw at him, and with one punch he could launch him into orbit. Really just as long as Bob's durability holds up, I think he wins, but it could be a good scrap for a minute or two, so I'm going to put Obadiah Stane in a bit of a scrap. Alright, that's my list. Like I always say, don't take this too seriously. It's all fake, and if you ask me tomorrow, my list would probably already be changed up a little bit. Like right now, I'm already thinking I should probably put Megatron and they'd beat Mr. Incredible, but whatever. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know if you would change anything and why, but that's all I've got today, so I'll see you in the next one.